I'm Brianna Castro. Uh, I'm just a 23-year-old girl that lives in New York, just graduated college, trying to find my way, I guess, in life. I'm a little lost right now, but I feel like most people are at this age. So I'm just living life. I work at Apple, hanging out with my friends, focusing on like making myself better right now.
Justin,
Yes.
who are you?
I am me.
And what exactly does that mean?
Just a guy in this universe living life.
Well, what do you do?
I act. I live life.
And what exactly do you see as living life?
Being free minded,
What makes you think you're free-minded?
because I am. I don't have a belief or religion or so that controls me, I would say.
Brianna, where are you from?
I'm from New York, specifically Long Island. I've been all over actually. From born in Manhattan, lived in Queens, moved to Westbury, moved to Texas, moved back to New York. So I've been all over, but I'm a New York girl at heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit more about your experience during the times you were moving from New York to different states.
So I moved in 2009. I was in ninth grade, so I was just going into high school. So it was kind of traumatic moving from like my hometown to Texas, which is the South, it's like a totally different world. And I was miserable. I left all my friends. I left everything I ever knew, went to like a foreign place, and it was just not my cup of tea. We stayed there for like 5 months literally because we experienced like a lot of like racism, and it was like boring and it was hot. It was just crazy.
Racism.
Yeah.
So how do you think you're any different from anybody else?
Because most people don't see things my way.
What makes you think so?
Because I just see how they live life and what people go through, what they struggle with.
How old are you, Justin?
25.
Okay, and do you think that you have life figured out?
I'm getting there.
Do you ever think that people don't see life the way that you do because they're more mature? Because they're older? Because they experience more things?
No, I mean,
Do you ever think that they once thought they were living life?
no, it's funny that you say that because I think most older people don't experience, well, the ones that I come across in my neighborhood that I've grown up with, they haven't experienced life.
What
life
about in other
is.
neighborhoods?
Some people have. I've learned from others, but
Okay.
for the most part, no.
And what about life do you think that you've accomplished?
I think I've accomplished the biggest aspect of life, which is overcoming fear.
So a few instances, not necessarily towards me, more towards my dad, my brother. My brother he's like 3 years younger than me, 2.5 years younger than me. So he was in, I think, middle school at the time. He was called a nigger in school before. And I can only imagine, like, I've been called things before as well, but, him growing up as a young boy, that was traumatic.
How did that make you feel?
It made me sad because I never really experienced that growing up in New York, especially when my dad, he was actually like tackled by like police at one point when we were down there. I guess they thought he was like out of control for whatever reason. I witnessed the whole thing. I was like so young and I was like screaming, crying. It was so crazy. And once that happened, like we were out. He wasn't having it, and he was like, I'm not going through this. But just witnessing that at such a young age put a lot into perspective for me, I guess. Just growing up and becoming who I am,
Okay.
it made me realize, like, I'm a young black woman, I'm black and Hispanic, and people, they see me as one thing. So I have to move accordingly. I have to do what's best for me, regardless if anybody else feels it is, because I've experienced certain things that they may have not. And for me, that was like a big time in my life where I was like kind of growing, learning.
That must be very challenging.
Yeah.
Especially at
Did
age.
you once fear something?
Of course,
What was it?
failure.
Okay, and what happens if you fail?
What I learned from is failure is a lesson. That's all. But most people are scared to fail because they're just scared to even take that step or even try to do something because they're afraid to fail. They think once they fail that, that's the end of everything, when it's really just a lesson learned. So even if I go into an audition room and I completely bomb it, right, I could either like walk away and be like, I'm never doing that again, or I can learn from it.
Okay, so what's most important to you now? Your career, yes?
Yeah.
What if it doesn't take off?
In what way?
If you fail at it, can't get a job
It's
that
not-
makes you.
It's not failing. I don't
What
look
is
at
it?
it as failing.
At what age will you feel like a failure? You're 30.
With acting,
right.
I don't know. Whenever that moment comes,
And
but
do you have a plan B?
but I don't think that it's failing though.
Why is that?
Because just because I have a plan and it doesn't go the way I want doesn't mean I failed.
So what exactly is it?
It means that I tried everything that I could and I did everything I could to make it come, but everything doesn't happen the way you always want it to be.
So acting is how you take care of yourself, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in reality, if you're no longer able to take care of yourself with acting, what are you going to do?
We'll see what happens. My coach always says,
Well, no,
listen,
not. What
no,
are you
listen.
going to do?
My coach always said, and I look up to him a lot, he always said that his life personally, nothing was ever planned, that things just happened. But when they happened, he was always ready and he was always open for opportunities. So if this doesn't happen for me, I don't know. We'll see what happens when that day comes.
So what are you passionate about?
I'm passionate about music. I love music.
What kind of music? Do you have any
Yeah,
specific?
R&B. I love R&B. Love hip hop.
Do you sing?
I do, to myself. I have a voice, but I've always been shy. So my outlet usually was dance. I've danced since I was young. That's like another one of my passions. But it's weird because I recently have stopped once I got out of college because I don't know. I just never had like too much time for it. I never really pursued it outside of like dance school and like college. Another thing that kind of I feel like hurts me because that's something that I really love.
Do you see yourself pursuing that in the near future?
I definitely see myself, partaking in like dance classes in the city. Maybe like a long-term goal would definitely be something like opening up like a dance school for kids or something to that degree. Something where dance is always going to be in my life because I feel like I can't live without doing that.
So during your pre-screening questions, you were asked what is one thing that you're scared people will find out about you, and what was your response?
Nothing. I'm not fearful of anything in there. If they found something out about me, I would hope that they learned from it the way I did.
Okay. So I've asked many people about that response,
Yeah.
and they all had the same answer.
That I was
Right.
I was BSing, huh?
Correct. So why exactly do you think multiple people had that response? Do you think everybody that had that response was just not free? Did you feel like their mind isn't free?
No, I think I'm just in a different light where that I'm not afraid of my mistakes or my failures in life or things that I did wrong.
It doesn't have to be a mistake. Doesn't have to be a failure.
I'm not ashamed of it, of whatever it is, whatever it is. I'm just not. So if somebody was to find something out about me, I would acknowledge it, let them know, yeah, I was younger then. It was a poor decision. It was a mistake. Whatever it was, and as I learned from that situation, maybe you do too.
Do you feel like you're honest with yourself most of the time?
I'm very honest with myself.
Or do you feel like you've built up a certain way that you want to live, that you've convinced yourself that's how you're living?
It's not convincing at all.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
And how could you be so sure?
Because of just how I grew up and the things that I went
How
through
you
in
grew
life.
up?
How I grew up.
Let's touch on
Okay,
that.
go ahead.
You grew up where?
In Jamaica, Queens.
Okay, and how was it growing up? Was it rough? Was it easy? Was it hood or was it suburban? Was it easy?
No, it was it was definitely hood, but
Was it easy?
I wouldn't say it was easy. But my mom.
So who are you closest with at the moment?
Friend-wise?
Friend, family?
So I have a friend named Amanda. I'm really close with her. We have a podcast together, so I guess that kind of made us a little bit closer. We just mesh, and then we clash at the same time. But I love her. Like, she's one of my like greatest friends. I recently just got really close with my brother. But it's a weird dynamic because my brother is a weird kind of guy. But I recently just got close with him, so that kind of made me like a little bit more happy. And I'm getting a little bit closer with my mom too. But also, like, I feel like I'm getting distant with my dad, so there's that.
Now, growing up, you mentioned that you faced racism because of your skin color and maybe your appearance. Do you feel like you were bullied?
Oh, I was definitely bullied when I was younger.
Tell me more about.
Well, currently you can't see because my eyebrows they're looking a little nice. But when I was younger, I used to have really thick eyebrows, and I got them from my mom. I was always teased about my eyebrows. I'm Hispanic, so I'm a little hairy. I was just always teased by my hair on my body, like anywhere. Kids used to like make fun of me. They used to like, even my friends, like they used to call me like a monkey. And they would just be really mean. And I would go home and I would like cry to my parents. I'm like, they're so mean to me. Like, why are they like, am I ugly? Like, do I look like a monkey? And my parents were like, no, you're beautiful. And them telling me that didn't help. You know what I mean?
How did it affect you going to school every morning and seeing the same kids and being around the same kids, having to say all these mean things to you?
A little bit about me. I'm a very kind person, and I forgive a lot of people, even though they've done me like wrong. So for me, going to school and seeing them, it didn't really faze me because I was like, okay, it's a new day. Hopefully nobody bullies me today, or hopefully nobody says anything about me today. You know, not saying that I didn't have friends, because I definitely did, but you know, kids, they just pick on you whenever. So me going to school every day, I would tell my mom, can you pluck my eyebrows? Like, please, I need them to be thin. I don't need them to be like thick. Or I would like wear things to cover my arms. And it made me feel bad because I would never want like anybody to feel like that. So I never did that to kids, you know, like I never like said mean things. I was never like a bully or anything like that.
Do you think that people use your kindness for weakness?
100%. Every time. Like, and it sucks because that's the only way I know how to be. And every time I tell myself I'm gonna be different, I end up being the same. So that kind of hurts me because it's like I don't really want to trust people.